So today on Idiots Go Running, we have got Colin. Say hello, Colin.
Hello, Colin. Literally, to another Colin.
On our show, we've got a guest who likes to run. Do they really? Do they jog around the place just for fun? That's not fun. Are they a professional athlete? Nope. Lining at the start with the elite. It don't matter. We've got a guest on our show because we asked and they didn't say no. It don't matter because our show has a guest. It does. Pretty much because we asked and they said yes. So, Colin, how are you?
Not too bad. Good. Just back from a wee trip back to the homeland. I was there just last week, so I'm getting back into the swing of things here. How about you?
I'm doing the best. You were actually on the same island as me, and now we're completely different continents now on a podcast. So, tell us a wee bit about yourself.
I think we connected a bit because our Instagram handles, I'm Irish fella running wild, and with you with Idiots Go Running, I think this kind of makes sense. But I'm a latecomer to this running gig. I started out when I was about, I'd say 37 or so, and now I'm the ripe old age of 54. So I'm going to keep on going as I am. But yeah, I've been running for a long time, and I started out not being a runner at all. Like, I think maybe we all were the same. If you knew me when I was about 35, I would have laughed at you being the runner that we are now. But so ended up running, ended up loving it. And I just finished my, I suppose my most recent adventure. I just finished getting my sixth star in the Abbott World Majors. I just got that in Tokyo there. About 6 weeks ago. So yeah, that's a bit me really.
Yeah. So do you know what I like is that gives me hope. So I started running, if anyone who hasn't listened to the show, I started running sort of in my mid 30s as well. And, I thought I was pretty late to the game because I'm talking to all these people, Colin, and they're fast, very fast, like yourself. You're faster than me and Andrew, but that's not hard. So you said you finished all the 6 majors. What are they for? Because people who listen to our show are maybe runners or someone who's just starting out. They're probably not elite. Or they might be elite, but what are the 6 sort of majors?
There's these 6 marathons, and I don't know what actually qualifies why it's just these 6. I think maybe it's a little bit of difficulty or whatever involved and where they fall in the year. But there's Boston, New York, London, Berlin, Tokyo, and Chicago, and they're classed the world majors by Abbott. I think it's to be a little bit of like a sponsorship thing too, that they'll hype around these things, but they're tough races to get into, and you can get into them either via charity. You have to raise a lot of money for some of them, or you can do those marathon tours. There's a couple of spots on there, but most people I know try to qualify, for them, and they're hard to get into. So, but a lot of people try to get these 6 races done, and when you get all 6 done, you get this special medal. It's like a 6-star medal. So
yeah, I seen your medal. Do you apply for that, or do they send that out when you do it?
No, well, when you do the races, it's a wee bit of, you have to do a lot of planning to do these things too. Not only all the travel and all involved, but there's actually a portal, the Abbott's people have this portal where you have to have a profile. And then once you're doing the last race, they'll know that it's your last race because you have to give them all the details. And then just about a week or two before, they'll be like, you're going to be getting your medal, and you're going to have to go to, you have to sort of confirm that you're going to be there and all that. And then they have a medal waiting for you at the end. They're all these people are standing there with these 500 medals to give idiots like us who are stumbling across the finish line.
Hold on a wee second. I'm actually loving this because you get my lingo. You get the Northern Irish or the Irish sort of lingo. When I said, hold on a wee second, a lot of people might not get that, but you do. So hold on a wee second. You cross the line and everybody gets their medals. Mm-hmm. And then they walk over to you and they give you one medal and then a special medal. Do you look like royalty then? Is there many people getting these special medals, or is there only one at the finish line? How does that work?
Not at all. No, so you, any other big race, you cross and you get, the race medal of the race that you're running first.
Yeah.
So you get the Belfast medal or whatever if you're doing. And then you walk maybe about another 100 yards further along, or in my case in Tokyo, it seemed like I could hardly walk at the end of the race. And it seemed like I was walking another marathon just to get to this medal. But there's a special area where you go, and it's all set up. It's all done. They know how to do it. They set it up at all the majors, and it's just you and everybody else that's meant to get the medal that day. They get it. They get your picture taken, and then off you go. So So after that, yeah, you look like a bit of a fool walking around the city where you get the medal jingling and jangling with this big thing. But I mean, you look ridiculous enough walking around Tokyo in the sort of poncho thing they give you, but now I have like medals jingling.
Hold on, a medal and a poncho. You're making me want to get like these 6 medals for the poncho alone.
It's funny you say that because I have a good friend in California and she saw all the pictures of the Tokyo race and she was like, I just want to qualify for this for nothing more than to get this poncho.
and tell me about this poncho. What was it? What color was it? What was it like? Have you got it hanging up on your wall? Where have you got it?
I don't. It's downstairs somewhere in the basement, I think. But it's just like it's a nice sort of like a toweling, like a toweling kind of a thing. And it basically, when all of us are wearing it, when you're wearing run gear, it comes to like just above your knees. So we're all looking like we're wearing this dress, like this sleeveless dress, walking around Tokyo. But for when you don't know anybody in Tokyo, it's kind of like a badge of honor to walk around with these medals around your neck, and everybody can be like, well, there's an idiot who just ran the race.
Do you know what? It's like you do something amazing and then they throw these clothes on you, throw this medal around your neck. Did anyone like want a picture with you with your medal? Did anyone try and steal your medal? Have you got any funny stories, you walking around with a poncho and a medal?
Not in Tokyo. Like, as I say, of course, as luck would have it, who do I run into? I knew a whole bunch of other people who were there to get, when you do these races, like over a series of, it took me maybe 3.5 years to get them all done. So you travel and you tend to travel with other people who are doing the same. And the really nice thing about it then is you have there's this community of people who are traveling to do the world majors. So, you can be going out for a shakeout run in Boston or Tokyo in this case. And, Jesse, how you doing from New York? And then you run another man along. It's like, oh, Gareth, it's Gareth from London or, But anyway, I was walking around with my stupid poncho and very proud of my, 6-star medal. And who do I run into? Like walk along, and then I'm walking along to get back to the subway to go back to the hotel. Is my friend Joe, who was doing it. This was his second go round at the majors. So the pair of us are looking ridiculous, and I'm even like, he's walking around now with 2 of them because he brought He got his first one, brought it with him just for photo opportunities, and then he got the second one. So he's walking around with 2 of these medals. So I'm sitting on the subway with him, and I was like, "You're even stealing my thunder. I can't even look cool with this one medal. You've got 2 of them."
Like two of them medals. Is there any limit? Do you know if there's any limit to these medals? No, you can just get as many as you want.
I think if you keep doing them, you can keep earning them again. But I'm telling you, like, I'm done. Like it's a big undertaking. I mean, not only is it a lot of training, it's a lot of travel, and it's not cheap, because all these cities, these big races are, the prices are all hiked up in every city, for the time of the race. I'm glad I'm done. I'm not going around again.
And to get this medal, you can do it throughout your life, or is there a specific period of time you have to complete all these races? No
specific time at all. Like, it could take you over. I mean, the whole thing started, and I'm not big in the history of this, but I think it only started maybe in like the mid 2000, like 2005 or so. And then people have been doing it. I know people, for example, who got it when I was in Tokyo. I was chatting with some people who it took them like 10 years to do it, and it can, because as I say, if you want to go just the qualifying route, it can be, it's a lot of trial and, you try to qualify, you don't get in, you have to do it again or whatever. So like, even for me, for example, it's very, very difficult to get into Tokyo. So I qualified for all of them except Tokyo, and I went the charity route, so you just, have to raise money or give money to get your bid place.
That is class, because that was going to be my question. To qualify for them type of races, like, you have to be reasonably fast. Like, you can't just rock up like me and Andrew, and it's usually sub 3 hours, isn't it? I think Boston used to be sub 3 hours for men. Yeah,
it's shifting. Well, these big races, there's different qualifying times depending on your age. And I'm an old fat. That's everything. People always say to me, like, what, you qualified for Boston in your first attempt? I'm like, it helps when you're 48 when you're first trying, because you're a little more forgiving when you're older. But yeah, for like a lot of guys and girls, like, under the ages of like 40 or like in their 20s and stuff, these qualifying times are mad, for them to try. So like, that's why I was able to get all of these majors done over like a 3 or 4 year, like 2.5 years actually. And, and I think a lot of that is to do with, I was just lucky enough to be an old fella, like qualifying for these things. But that said, like,
quite hard on yourself. You're quite hard on yourself.
But, the great thing is, I mean, like any of us, I think I'm not going into the marathon. I'm still trying to run like my fastest time, when I'm running a marathon. It's not just like I'm going in to qualify, that's if I qualify, that's great, or that's the goal to qualify, but I'm still going to try and run faster than that qualifying time.
Yeah, you're still up against yourself as a lot of us
Absolutely.
are. You've got this medal now. I looked at your Instagram page and I seen it, and did someone comment, what's next? What is next?
Yeah.
Like, have you got a plan? Have you got an idea? Do you want to go? I know you want to probably run them faster. You're not really convinced on getting it again. What's next? More cities? More medals?
Well, I don't know really, Colin, honestly, because I know of one thing, and nobody believes me when I say this, but I think I'm done with marathon. And marathon, I think I am. Like, marathon's a good thing, but I've had some health challenges over the past couple of years that just have made running marathons the way that I want to more and more challenging. And it's a complex, like, endocrine system kind of a thing. But Tokyo really just proved to me, like, no matter how good of a training cycle I can have, which I did for Tokyo, like, everything really went well, and everything, I mean, on the marathon day, sure, everything can go wrong on the day, the weather, just you need to go to the toilet too much, whatever it might be. But like, everything was pointing for a really good day in Tokyo. Things were just happening in my body that I couldn't control from around mile 14. So I think I'm done with marathon, because I mean, that's not to say, don't get me wrong, I think I'm done running marathon competitively. Like, I'd be quite happy to maybe have friends or family if they wanted to run, maybe pace them, to PR at a marathon. But for me to PR the way that I want to, I think I'm done. So no more marathons in my future. So the goal is, to answer your question, sorry, very long-winded.
It's fine, as long as you want.
I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, I like to run fast. And obviously, running fast at marathon is hard. So I think I'd like to see what damage I can do to my half PR, and even all the way. I love a 5K. I would love to see what like I can do as an older fella, like at the 5K distance, and get that. Like right now, I'm just on bordering, like I'm almost around 17 flat, and I'd like to see if I could really reduce that sometime over the past year. So I enjoyed the training, which I never thought I'd be that person to say that, but I enjoy training, and I've got a really good coach, and he already has told me, he's like, well, it's just a different type of running hard, but you're still going to be running. And that's what I want to do. So that just removing that sort of factor I can't control in marathon. So I want to see if I can sort of just focus on shorter distances. And, as you say, I'd even travel to do a 5K if it was a flat one. So like maybe see a bit more.
I was actually out running with, there's a guy on our podcast called Nick Weston, and he always gives us tips. And I was out running with him, and he says to me, Colin, I would say 10K would be the hardest race there is. And I was looking at him going, hold on, you're talking to someone who's planned to run 108 miles, and this is kind of a slap in the face. You going, well, if a 10K is harder than that. But he didn't mean it like that. He means going all out you don't get into the flow. See, when I'm running, it takes me about 3 or 4 miles for me to actually get my body moving, get going the way it wants to go, and fall into a bit of a pace. Like 10K, if you're competing, you're hard at it. Like 5K, you will be, the gun goes off and your head's down and you're running. It must be quite intense.
Yeah, and I would actually agree with your friend. I actually hate the 10K. That's one of my least favorite distances. Much and all as I've just said, I like to run fast. I find 10K is the most challenging to pace, because I feel like a 5K, like if you go out and you do, you'll always do a 3 miles warm up. So that's like what you do, and that gets you into the flow and see how things are, do a couple of drills, whatever. And then once the gun goes off, what I love about a 5K is, yes, it hurts. You're going all like, well, there's even strategy in like, those 3 short miles, there's even strategy in trying to do them smartly. But like, you always know that like the hurt is not going to be usually any longer than about 20 minutes,
Yeah. 10K, there's no, if someone starts off strong and they're ahead of you and you are competitive. Now, I'm not competitive. So you're looking at me going to 10K. If someone ran off, I'm going, look at you, but I'm just going to sit in the back and enjoy this run. You're not catching anyone, over 100 miles. My hope is that at least I'll catch one person. I should, even if he doesn't finish, I might be able to pass one person, Oh,
that's not true. I think even in shorter distances, there's something. I mean, it's terrible. I'm making myself sound like I'm really competitive, and I am really with me. But like, I'm a big solo runner. Like, I like being out there on my own a lot. But I do love like being put in a race and putting myself into a situation where I do compete, because it's nice to sort of have your peers around you, and you do end up reeling people in. Like, you know, this is an awful thing to say, but one of my favorite things to do is in a 5K is like you'll be out there with like your peers or whatever, and there's a whole bunch of track kids, and they're really fast, and they're all like at, you know, at high school or whatever, and they're really, really fast runners, but they're really good on a track. You get them in a race, and I'm like, I know this race, I know this course, it's hilly, and they all go hard at it for the first mile, and then they hit maybe the first hill and the second mile, and it's just like reeling you in.
So it's more, so you're calling yourself an old fella, so it's more really you proving, yeah, I'm old, but you know, I've got it up here. There's a bit of brains going on up here. There's skill, there's tactics to it. I once took off and it was running, but there was a young fella behind me, and he says, "Oh, you jog on, Colin." I thought, nah, I'll not see him. And then he just he was very fit though. He was a semi pro athlete, and it showed. He was younger, he was healthy, he was good looking and everything. You know, he had the whole package. And meanwhile, I'm running there like a sweaty mess, and he just laps me. So I've never had the experience of having the experience to reel people in. We touched on your majors, so I think it's a good point for me to let Andrew ask you a question. So unfortunately, Andrew can't be here today, so he's sent me a message, and I always apologize for these questions.
Now I'm nervous.
So, and you should be.
Andrew asks a question.
What will it be?
Andrew asks a question.
Just wait and see.
Andrew asks a question.
A mystery key, unlocking the answers with some curiosity. Colin, sorry I can't be on the podcast with you guys today, but I do have a question for you, and the question is this. You have unbelievably completed the Tokyo Marathon, Boston Marathon, London Marathon, Berlin Marathon, Chicago Marathon, and the New York City Marathon. That is an amazing achievement. And what I want to know out of those 6 marathons is, which is the best smelling marathon? So say you're running along the streets, what marathon smells the nice? There might be bad smells in some parts of them and great smells in others, but generally over the course of the 26.2 miles, which marathon made you come away thinking, wow, that's a really nice smelling marathon? So if I wanted to sign up on one of these marathons on smell alone, Colin, what marathon would I sign up to?
That's an interesting question, and it's funny because as he was asking it, you know, I'm going through. Well, you know, marathons on the whole, like depending on how tight the pack is, can be pretty smelly. I think ranging from the smelliest, which was Chicago, for reasons that maybe we can't talk about. There was a gentleman around me who decided to relieve himself.
The Windy City, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. Just relieve himself completely. Everything, all coming down, and just kept running, did not care. He had a time in mind, so everybody gave him a wide berth. We were all literally like, what is that? And then like everybody looked down, and we were like, oh my. Anyway, so that was the smelliest. So the nicest smelling one, though, I'd have to say, would be Tokyo. And for a number of reasons, like Tokyo is one of the cleanest like big cities you could ever go to. So just from that alone, like there's no trash smell. There's no like, you know, like hotter things or whatever. Hotter cities, you can have that like trash smell. And then the other thing, which is true, the parts of the city that you run through, the cherry blossoms were actually starting to bloom. So as you were running through part of the course, you actually were like smelling some of that, which was nice, apart from the rest of the BO.
But I suppose the BO is kind of like, it's kind of a given in a marathon. So we're going Chicago, kind of put you off, but then you've got Tokyo with has all the blossoms. Is there much smell comes off it? Is it cherry blossom? It is a cherry blossom. It's like their national tree.
Yes,
it's what you stereotypically see with Tokyo. Is there much of a smell comes off them?
I mean, it's not super crazy, but you know, like when you're in a city, you know how it is. I don't think it's just me, but you know, we're so sensitive to like city smells. Then when you get a smell that's not the city, you know, you can smell it, you know, not like, you know, exhaust fumes or whatever. So it's not like smell it everywhere you go, but just some parts of the course we were actually just running by like them and they were just coming into bloom. So, well, maybe I was hallucinating at that point because my last 4 or 5 miles of Tokyo, I was like walking along like a marionette trying to run.
Yeah. But the visually smell nice anyway, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
That's amazing. And you said Tokyo had no trash cans or garbage cans or rubbish bins, what we call them over here.
Right. I was blown away by Tokyo in a lot of ways. Just, I think the big takeaway from me I'd never been before. And it's the respect that they all have collectively for where they live and for each other that we just don't seem to have here. And yeah, there's like very, very few trash cans, but that's because nobody litters. Nobody does that. Even walking around the city, I was blown away the amount of, in a big city like Tokyo with millions of people. Can you imagine in like Dublin or Belfast or New York or Philadelphia, like bicycles were left outside buildings, not locked.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they were good bikes.
Good bikes.
Wow. So how many did you come home with?
I know. That was. I'm maybe sort of like inciting a whole bunch of people to go.
Go to Tokyo, get yourself a free bike. They're just sitting about everywhere waiting for you to pick up.
Back and sell them along on the streets around here.
Oh, love it. You started off your running journey, you said quite late, 37-ish?
Yeah. About 36, 37, yep.
What kept you running?
Like, again, what got me into it was, I have a couple of nephews back home in Ireland. One of them has since passed away, but has cystic fibrosis. So my brother and I got into the whole thing trying to raise money to find a cure for CF. And we started to do triathlons. And I very quickly realized that biking is not my thing. Swimming, I can do, but biking, I just really, really don't like it. And then I ended up like really enjoying the running. And I think I never thought I would be that person. But you know how it is? It's just like when you do anything, when you begin to see that you're getting not good, but when you're improving or something's improving here, like running was clearly where I was getting stronger. And I was like, I want to see. Then of course, like, you do the triathlon and you're done. You just finish that. But then when I took the other disciplines out and I just started to run, then it was like, I'm going to do a 5K. And then like you have a benchmark. So then it's like the next time I want to do it faster and I want to do it better. And I mean, I kept just doing that. And I work a lot. I work for myself and I work from home all the time. And as I say, I'm a big solo runner, and there's just, I know it all sounds a bit, we all you hear people say these things, but running really is kind of like my Zen space away from every device. And I love getting out there early in the morning, and it's a place for me to process a lot of stuff. And I ended up finding that in running, which again, I think got me into it, kept me going,
I'm very similar to yourself. I'm a bit of a solo runner, and I would actually argue that even when I run with Andrew, I'm still running solo because of the amount he runs. So if someone says Andrew's kind of your punch bag, and I'm like, do you know what he is? He makes me feel good. He makes me feel when I'm running, I'm fast. If I'm not training enough, well, look at Andrew, I'm training more than him, so I'm training enough. I am also a bit of a solo runner. I don't have any running clubs. I don't join any running clubs. I kind of try and wangle my own way through this space, but I love going out running, and I have some crazy ideas. Have you ever had any crazy ideas when you've been out running? Like something just comes into your head and it's a wee bit mental. Like, is there anything ever happened to you like that?
All the time.
That I think you can share.
I actually, for my job, I work in branding and stuff like that, and I work a lot in the naming environment. So I help companies develop names for brands. So you can imagine when I'm out running, often I have all these names that all come into my head. And then the key is if I don't have something with me, I'll come back and I'm like, that's really good. That idea is great. That's really good. That's really good. And then I'll come back and either I don't remember what some of these really good ideas are because I've moved on. I've thought about a million other things. Because when you're out running, I can be, that's a really good name. And then, there's a deer on the road. Look, there's, whatever. I can then, either don't remember the name, or I'll try to then think like, that was a really good idea for that name. And then like, I'll start to think about it and flesh it out or whatever. Like, this is absolute nonsense. It's like not a good idea.
Is it when you come back and try to explain it to someone? So I've had an idea and I've came back. I would come back and I explain it to my wife and she goes, that makes no sense at all, or that's a really stupid idea. And sometimes I go one step too far and I'm mid-run, maybe I'm 10 miles in, and I would ring up a boss and said, I've got a really good idea. Never, ever do that, because 90% of the time he goes, yeah, just continue on running, Colin, and see how that pans out. So yeah, don't ring your boss or work colleagues because you think you've got a great idea when you're out running.
No, I hear you. Well, it's like, again, being creative. Often, if I've had a few drinks maybe, and I'll think I've got a great idea, and I'll actually come up to the office and think it's a great idea and do a bit of work on it. But then you wake up the next day and you look at what you've done. I'm like, this is complete and utter garbage. It
just sounds like, do you know what? It sounds like you should have some sort of wall in your office, like this initial thought process, a running wall. I don't know what you might call it, but that would be an interesting wall to have in your office.
It would be, I think though, I would be scared to look at that over a period of weeks or months, because I think it would just be like a roadmap to Colin's insanity. You know, this is really what's in Colin's head. I don't think that's a good thing to map out anywhere.
Yeah, mine could look like the back of a toilet door in a nightclub by the time I'm finished with it.
No, I mean, I do love the running space is great, but like, you know what I was saying about how I am a solo runner and I enjoy that. But then I also have learned over the years that for me, sometimes to get better, like if I'm out doing a track workout or whatever, I'm usually better on my own. But like if there's somebody who's got a similar pace level to me, or even better if they're faster than me and they're out there with me, it's good for you to have somebody to sort of spur you along. Like when you're doing long marathon training runs and you have a progression run, another person that my coaches, and she's a really fantastic runner, and I would often do some of my long runs with her because she's faster than me. So she would keep me in it. Like, you know, because, you know, sometimes when you're out long and you're trying to sustain a pace, you can just check out. Even if I was running like 50 yards behind her, I knew at least if I'm 50 yards behind her, I'm running on pace. You know,
you're consistently 50 yards behind her, I suppose. Yeah. I would go out for a run. I would go past a coffee shop thinking, I'm going to double back here and come back, and I'll go and I will grab myself a coffee, because you know what? I just enjoy it. You can just drop off and go into your own wee world. I completely get when you're talking about running with someone or running behind someone. It sort of keeps your pace active and keeps you focused.
Yeah, definitely. And again, I think there's something like I would even say to other friends of mine or runners, a wee word of advice would be, even if you're like much and all as I think it's you and I might be solo runners, it's good for us to run with people every now and again. I think the same is true in reverse. I think people who run with people all the time need to know what it's like to run solo hard. You know what I mean? Because if you're in a marathon or whatever you're doing, or an ultra, like, you know, you're going to be out there and you need to get used to what that's like. And when it hurts, maybe not have somebody to rely on. You know what I mean?
But you even said about the Zen space, and I find myself running, and I also find when I run with more experienced runners that I'm even picking their brains and ask them things. Now, we're not doing a big hard run. It's an easy run. And you end up unpacking a lot of stuff. That other person probably knows you better than sort of half your family, because you run with them so much and you're spilling your guts out to them. Like, I find them asking them, like what do you eat during a marathon? How many times do you eat that? What gels do you eat? Why do you eat that? Or these shoes fell apart and he didn't like them and his feet are wider. Or you end up getting into like talking about other guys' feet in a run. It's weird, just weird.
It is weird, but you're absolutely right, because again, a couple of mornings a week I would run, you know, with a couple of people, and some of them have become very, very close friends of mine. And you're absolutely right that there's just like things that you know, you just wake up, or you're going through some things with work or your family or whatever, and it's sometimes you're happy to just be that person's listening space, you know, because then conversely, I'm going to do the same to them in a couple of runs time. I'm stressed about something, and that's a really nice thing about the running community. And that's one of the reasons why I actually started my Instagram handle, is because, you know, I don't really have anybody. My other half is not into running really at all. I'm still like me talking about it in no sense. So it was good to have like established the running community on Instagram where I could do those things, like pick people's brains about clothes and shoes and all that good stuff.
If you have one run left, and it can be anything, anywhere, with anybody, real or fictional, what would that run look like? Like, you're the race director, it can be anything.
Gosh, well, you know, I know I'm going to sound crazy. Like, I have no desire to really run Boston again, but there's something about the energy of Boston weekend that's just incredible. So if in an ideal world, I would love to go back to Boston and just kind of run along with it, you know. And I mean, if you're talking about fictional character, I'm the biggest nerd in the world. So I'm going to really nerd and say, like, I would love to like go on a long run with like Doctor Who or somebody where we could really have a good chat about everything through time and space. It's been around for like 60 years. There's been many Doctor Who's. So maybe there's one or two. Like
entity is all one entity.
Yeah,
they are. All one.
Yeah, they change. They were able to change. They were able to regenerate. Anyway, let's not go down the nerd. Let's not go down the nerd.
No,
hole.
I want to know, who's your favorite Doctor Who? Was it Billie Piper? Wasn't she Doctor Who at one stage? You know?
No, she was his companion,
assistant.
Yeah, assistant. So no, I suppose I'm an old timer at Doctor Who, so I suppose the fourth Doctor, Tom Baker, would be my favorite. But of the new era, I suppose David Tennant. But everybody likes David Tennant.
Yeah, I was about to say he's the one that stands out for me. And
most people outgrow it, Colin, but like not me. I can remember watching it back home in Northern Ireland when I was a wee fella, like around 3 or 4, and it stayed with me.
You're talking to the guy that still loves listening to Hanson, and his favorite movie is Weekend at Bernie's 2. Oh, it's amazing, and people don't get how good Weekend at Bernie's 2 is. Like, it might be a bit of a spoiler alert, but Bernie, he's back and he's deader than ever, and you know he's basically cursed, and he goes towards finding treasure. How can that not be a genius movie? I absolutely love it. Colin, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show today. Have you enjoyed it?
Thanks for having me. It's great to keep doing what you're doing. I mean, I admire all you people who do the ultra stuff. I've done one ultra during the madness of COVID. I went out on my own and just ran an ultra, and it proved to me that I'm not made for that.
I've nearly said bye-bye already. You've run an ultra. How far did you go?
What is it? Is it 30? What is it? Tell me what an
ultra's anything more than a marathon, so 26.3 is technically an ultra.
No, I think I ran like 35 or something like that, some random number that I just decided. And it was during, as I say, I was one of those crazies during the COVID shutdowns where I was challenging myself like every month to do something. So I decided I was going to go out and do that one morning, and I tried it one morning, and I had to stop, or rather I was stopped because I took a really bad tumble and hurt my head and everything. So I had to that was at mile 22. So then a couple of weeks later I did it again, and I finished it all. But like, as I say, no, I give you a lot of credit.
Yeah, it's nothing like a 10K apparently, but no, me and Andrew do it for the adventure, and Colin, I just do it to push my body a wee bit further until I tumble and I fall. And when I do, that might be my limit, and I'll probably go like yourself and try it again. But it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show today, and thank you so much for agreeing to come on. Anybody who wants to follow you or get in touch with you, do you want to give out your Instagram handle?
Yeah, sure. It's _running_wild. That's me. I'm happy to help if anybody's any questions about anything, running, majors, whatever. Happy to follow along, chat anytime.
Love it. Thank you very, very much.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Colin. We'll see you again.